Hi, it's MUSOLINI, the merchant of success. Welcome. It's the personal marketing system 2.0. Yes. Right. So you might be wondering why 2.0. A couple of years ago, I did another program on personal marketing. So this is an upgraded version with an upgraded shirt, hopefully. All right. An upgraded beard, upgraded here. Here we go. All right. So typically, the framework that I follow is clarity over what we are going to talk about and why. We talk about the mindset required to make whatever we are working on a success, the strategies that we have to deploy, and the skill sets required to make that happen, to bring the strategies to life. And finally, we talk about mastery. How then do you master the content and, most importantly, bring it to life? Okay. All right, let's start with the clarity. Let's talk about introduction to personal marketing. Now, I want to create a big picture here before we go into the nitty-gritties. There is also a science to the madness, or to the mix, so to speak. Last time we talked about personal branding. Then now we're talking about personal marketing. So when we talk about branding, it's really about the building the thing in the way, not the thing, but building the person the way you want that person to appear to the world. Now that you've built that person, the characters, the qualities, and this answers the question I saw earlier. Once you've developed you've packaged the qualities, the personality you want to put out there, you choose how you want to communicate, how to appear. Then you have to take this brand into the world. Now that's personal marketing. So, for example, the creators of this bottle, and I have no idea who the creators are, the branding is at the bottom. So once you create this bottle, that's, you package everything, then the marketing is you put word out there aggressively, okay? So that's the key, in that it's not enough to build your brand, you have to market it aggressively. And that's what we are doing with you. So personal marketing is the process of getting your name out there and convincing people to contact you for a job, product, or service. That's what it really is. You put it out there and convince people. Now, when we say you put it out there, it has to be a valuable name. Now, that's why we started with branding yourself. So I've branded these slides and everything, whatever you want to call it, but then I have to put the name out there for people to come and see the slides. All right. So this is what we are looking at, in that. All right. So how do you convince people to say yes to your job, your product, your service? I should also add idea, because I've seen people market ideas, market movements, market concepts. You see, when you think about a guy like Gandhi, he had certain beliefs that he had to market. Nelson Mandela had to market certain beliefs. He had to brand himself. He had to dress in a certain way. He had to have a certain beard. He had to have a certain shirt. And then, of course, he had to put his name out there to convince people to follow his vision. You see, it's no use being excellent, competent, punctual, and efficient professional if nobody knows it, or if no one knows about it, all right? The concept, you see, there are two schools of thought. There are those who think and please, you need to pay attention to this. There are two schools of thought. There's a concept or an idea of build it and they will come. And there's another concept of build it and market it aggressively. In fact, these days, even smarter marketers, they say, okay, market what you're going to build. Think about it. Now that I'm saying it, that's a very interesting idea. So have you noticed that some of these real estate companies, the real estate developers, they create a visual concept and you deposit money on a concept. The house is not yet built. The house is not yet built, but they give you a visual impression, an architectural impression of what they are going to sell or market to you. So, meaning they can test out the idea to see whether it's going to work before they put in a fortune. They through marketing concepts and packaging things together, they are able to get money, and they use your money and my money and the bank's money to build and then make more money based on other people's monies, simply because they know how to brand and market. And I'm asking myself, how can we use those ideas for our own personal benefit? So the way I look at these sessions that I do, when I'm doing training, it's not just about me giving you ideas and concepts. The biggest value I can offer you is to think different. If I can help you to think different, like, okay, wow, so this guy, so meaning by using the right ideas and packaging, someone can even sell something that doesn't exist yet in real life. So if that can be done, then how much can you do with the competencies, with the experience, with the qualifications, with the publications? We have some professors in this room right now attending live. The publications, with the achievements you have that we can touch and feel. How much can you do? That's the inspiration I choose to drop into your head right now. If you can get that, then it will open up your mind. Then you become an investigator, not just a student. Personal marketing calls attention to your work. Okay, pay attention. So meaning you're saying, look, this is what I'm capable of doing. This is what I can do. We are here because I've done some marketing, and now here you are. Could I have done better? Absolutely. I could have done 100 times better. Having said that, if you're here, that's proof that some marketing which was done. So the point I'm making is for you to remember to pay attention to these concepts. Next, let's continue. This positions you as number one in the minds of your target market. So if you market yourself right, then in their minds, there is a saying that out of sight, out of mind. So if you're not in people's minds often, then the engagement is, I've noticed, for example, when I spend a long time without mailing my list or posting on my social media pages, then the first time I start to engage again, the engagement is low because I'm out of people's minds. Therefore, the other question you need to ask yourself as I'm making these definitions is, how can I get into my prospects' minds without necessarily seeming to be nagging? I believe someone asked that question, and we'll talk about that. So without necessarily seemingly a nagging person. So that's the question you should ask yourself. You should be having a target market, which we'll talk about later. Okay, cool. Now that we are done with clarity, let's talk about the mindsets that one needs for personal marketing. The first one is the market leader mindset. Okay. That's the first mindset you need. And meaning you need to rub shoulders. Now, in marketing, there's a concept we call the law of association. When we say the law of association, it means if someone has a certain kind of credibility, you can borrow their credibility by associating with them. So, meaning, assuming you want to be a top-notch engineer, so who are the leaders in the engineering niche that you need to find a way to associate with them, whether to be part of their clubs, to be part of the association, to be near them, to, what I find, I'll tell you something that I've found that works, which I don't use often because I'm not the kind who likes taking pictures and all that and posing and all that. And I will tell you as an example, it is very powerful. If this is a very tangible key. It's a very powerful thing for you to take pictures with big shots and post, oh, it was great meeting so and so. I was really humbled or honored. Oh, this guy is really a legend. I really respect them. So this answers part of Goreti's question. How do you talk about your achievements without seemingly bragging? So when you post a picture, for example, of you and this other legend, it's not about you saying, oh, you see, I am highly connected. These are the people, say, that I deal with. That's bragging, say. A smoother way is say, wow, this guy really inspires me. Boom, see, I'm talking about that this fellow inspires me, not that, oh, you see, these are the people I hang out with. But guess what? In the minds of the market, they're like, wow, this fellow is deeply connected. My wife recently saw a picture of me and, some time back before the late President Kaunda passed on, and said, well, no, why don't you use these pictures in your social media posts? And she had a big point. And I have a couple of those, but for some reason, I just need to find the mojo to be able to post the pictures I've taken with some of the influential fellows. But it's a powerful, powerful concept. And if you are able to do it, and also not able to do it, what I'm teaching you is that you can consciously create it. I remember at one time I was at an event, the Fourth Revolution event at Serena, and I met some guys who work at the headquarters of Google. Took some pictures with them. I've not posted them. Well, so as I'm teaching you, then I'm remembering. See, that's the beauty with teaching. You also remember. The other mindset is the market abundance mindset, that there is enough for everyone and the market is filled with opportunities. So there are people who think, this thing is really, there are people who will go there and tell you, you know what, the market is saturated. Even if I go there, I'm sure, this is the common one I've had. Or I'm sure by the time they put an advert in the papers, it's just for the sake of passing time. They have already made a decision. No, that's a scarcity mindset. So why don't you believe that this is for you? I'll give you another concept which I know has held me back for some time, which I'm overcoming. I'm just being very transparent, and that is me being accepted globally. In the region, yes, I know I've had lots of clients and customers and very comfortable with that. But then it's now a question also of me thinking and believing that, hey, there is a global market out there ready to accept what Ethan Mussolini can offer. So that's my work in progress right now. So, okay, how do I position myself and how do I build a strong level of belief that, all right, people at the headquarters of Microsoft or Google or Sony can accept what I have to offer. So that's my next level. Now, for you, it could be another level. I don't have to think at what I'm thinking about right now. I'm just saying, find what your next level is and also build that level of sense of self-belief that that's my next level. But also here is another key. When you believe that there is enough for everyone, what you're telling the world, what you're telling God is that those opportunities will also come to you. That's the mindset. That's the market abundance mindset. You have to believe that, because when we talk about personal marketing, if you don't believe that there are enough employers out there, there are enough customers out there, there are enough buyers out there, then you won't go. You won't take action. But if you believe that the market is this wide, then it will prompt you to take action and you will feel excited enough to take action. And I can guarantee you that you will. So at the moment, for example, my ads are going out to some other markets outside the immediate region. I haven't received a lot of success yet, but you know what? I'm going to stay at it so that people keep getting to know who I am. And as their level of belief and comfort increases, then they'll come on board. And that's also the mindset you have to play. The other mindset is, which I had not put in here, is have a long game mindset. A long game. When I was starting out in my career, and this is a very useful for you to note, is that I would go to organization and say, you know what, I'm willing to speak for free. And they're like, nope, nope. Hey, I'm willing to speak to your organization for a full hour for free. No, I'm willing to, no. But you know what? I didn't give up because I was playing a long game. I knew that it had to take time. So in that now, then those organizations are the ones looking for me. They call me. Could you be available on this date? So by being, you keep knocking on people's doors and believing that your breakthrough is going to come. So play the long game. That's a mindset that I had not kept added here. Please write that one down. The other mindset is to know that information is everywhere. Whatever you want to do or be, someone has written about it, seek information. This morning, I told you that my daughter's birthday was yesterday. And thank you for some of you posted the messages. I appreciate that. This girl is very lucky. She got over 600 and something comments. Okay, birthday wishes. What a lucky girl. And some of you did, so I appreciate that. So I got for her a scooter, and on the upper end of it, there is a latch which tightens the grip just below where they do the handles. Now, that latch, when she was riding today, it jumped off, so I had to fix it. But there is a way in which it is placed. I don't want to go into the science, but it was quite tricky. I could not figure it out. Like for over 10 minutes, I could not figure it out. Could have even been 15. So I said, you know what, go upstairs, get for me my phone, let's go on YouTube. So went on YouTube, looked at the first video, within a few minutes, I saw a clip. It was just 1.5 minutes, and I figured it out. Now, what does that have to do with this? And I expressed gratitude. I was like, okay, if this wasn't there, then I could have spent possibly an hour or even more struggling, or go look for a mechanic. And here I am, saved of that. So what does this mean? For whatever you want to market, to sell, or to just type in the right information in Google, in YouTube. Those are the two big searches. Those are the biggest search engines, and the information is there. Someone has already done what you want to achieve. Someone has already done it. So your question is to look for it, study it, and then implement it. All right? Let's continue. So first of all, all right, someone asked a question to say, okay, how does this lead to mindset change? No, this is not about mindset change. I'm talking about the mindset that you need, how you need to think about personal marketing to say, look, if I'm to move forward, for example, when you look at this first one of rubbing shoulders with the market leaders, if I'm to move forward, rather than me working alone till I become the big shot, and that was a big limitation from my perspective. I just worked alone in the cave to go to the top. I can tell you that is very tiring and limiting. So if I had, the only challenge though is that in this market, I didn't have people in this area. So in Uganda, I was the first in this particular aspect of motivational speaking to my knowledge. So I didn't have people to look up to, but most markets you find there's someone you can look up to, rub shoulders with them, then you leverage their popularity, their experience, their expertise, their brand, okay? So that's one. Then when we talk about market abundance, again, it's about how should you think? What should be your mindset around this? Your mindset should be that there's a huge opportunity out there. And then therefore it means rather than you limiting yourself to, or thinking that there's very limited opportunity for you and you don't take action, then when you know that there's so much out there for you, it gives you more hope, more confidence, and then you're able to move forward. Then number 3 is for information everywhere. Again, if you think that way, then rather than saying, oh, I can't do this, or it can't be done, or now I'm stuck, instead you thinking to yourself, there has to be information out there, therefore my job is to look for it. If your expertise is accounting and you want to figure out how to get the best job possible in accounting, then guess what? There are people who have done YouTube videos, there are people who have done courses about that. Your job is to access that. So this is just to make sure that your mind is properly set. It's not just about changing your mindset. It's about having the right mindset, okay? Or what frame of mind should you be in to succeed, to create the right grounding, to create the right foundation for you to spring from there, okay? So that's what this. All right, now let's talk about the strategies for this. The 3 key strategies for personal marketing. Strategy number 1 is inward focus. You create a personal SWOT. You have to be candid with yourself. SWOT, again, for some, or just as a reminder, or for some of us who may not know, it's really about you knowing what are my core strengths, what are my weaknesses. So that's you're looking at the inner part. Which opportunities are out there that I need to look at and take advantage of? What are the threats? About 3 days ago, I was walking upstairs to the house, and this is what came to my mind. And it's very true for all of us to be aware of. If what you are doing can be automated, then your job or expertise is in trouble. If it can be automated, then you're in trouble. Meaning it's a big threat. Technology is a big threat, and it's also a big opportunity. So meaning, for example, if you're dealing with numbers and all that, those kinds of jobs, not those kinds of, that's one area of a job that comes to mind quickly. Then just know that your job, if that's the only skill that you have, then you're in trouble. You need to expand your skill set and ability, okay? So, and then also say, okay, what extra value can you bring to the table besides punching in numbers? Because now with technology and robotics and artificial intelligence, then it's going to be scary. So you have to be, so part of you doing a SWOT is say, okay, is what I'm doing, can it be automated? Or can artificial intelligence take over? Then work on it, my friend, okay? And most things can be. This is why you need to be candid with yourself. And someone had asked yesterday, how do you do this? How else can you do this? The other key thing you can do is you can also engage someone that you know would be very honest with you, and then you will do that proper SWOT. This weekend would be a good start for you, my friend, but it starts with inward focus. Then, once you're done with the inward focus, then you do an outward focus. Here now you do the personal offering to the marketing. So you craft what you bring to the table based on your target market. Take initiative and send out communication based on what you bring to the market. All right. Now, yesterday I had hinted on this and I said we'd go a little deeper in this today. So here is how you package yourself to the marketplace. So you say, look, for me, I help, please write this one down. I help people or stroke organizations or entity, whatever. I help people solve. Which problems do you help people, organizations solve? Number two, or the other way around to look at it, which opportunities do you help people, organizations to create? So, for example, for me, I help people overcome their fears of confidence. You know, I help people overcome their fears. I help people to, reposition their careers to be the best versions of themselves. That's an opportunity. I help people to communicate at least 50% better in 5 weeks or less. Okay, that's an opportunity I create. And even to be specific, when we say market your niche, you say, like for me, one of the areas I serve people with is I help executives to become more effective in their communications by 50% or better in 5 weeks or less. All right. So that's my offering. It states the market, it states who I help, and states what I offer, and I state the results it creates. So you need to think about those realms. Okay. Who do you help and how do you help them, and what sort of result do you help them create? So that's something I would encourage you to. So if you're watching the recording, I want you to pause and think, who is your target market? What do you offer them? And what sort of results do you create? So for me, I help executives to become more effective in their communications. So communications is what I'm offering them. And then more effective by 50% or more. That's the result I offer in 5 weeks or less. All right. So that's my offering. So for you, what's your offering? Pause this video if you're watching the recording. For someone attending live, just 1 extra minute. All right, so I've seen some responses here. Let me look at them right now so that I offer some quick feedback. Belinda says, I help people to align with organizational policies and procedures so that what? That's another thing that you should add that I forgot to mention when you're crafting your offer. So that what? Okay. I help people to align with the organizational policies and procedures so that has to be clear. So that is the result. So aligning with the organization and policies and procedures, that's your offering. That's what you're doing, okay? And even better, you can even become more specific. When you say I help people to align owners of the business, what's that? Possibly you're referring to employees. Belinda says, so she has added, so that they shine once they fully align themselves to the policy. So if you say of the bank, you could say of the bank, if you say I help banks, I help employees in banks to make sure they align their policies and procedures. So that now, when you say shine, it's not measurable. We cannot put a tagline to it. But when we say to help employees increase their productivity by 25%, now All right, sorry about that. So Belinda, when you're defining your offering, you need to be as specific as possible rather than say shine. Shine is not enough. Shine. What is shining? Is it that they are smiling, as an example? Yeah. What is shining? Is it that they are happy? Is it so? You need to define, because shine is not easy to measure. Okay. So, but if you say to increase productivity by 25% in 12 months or less, as an example, again, I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying depending on what you're looking at, then that will give you perspective. Please let me know if that makes sense, Belinda, what I've just said. Godfrey Karun says, I help conservation organizations improve employer-employee relations for improved performance. Okay, good. Now, for improved performance, all right? Improve employee-employer relations. So you could frame it, improve employee-employer relations so as to boost overall organizational performance. So that is very, very critical, right? Godfrey, let me know if that makes sense. So you help, and I like the fact that you're being specific, conservation organizations. So if I'm a conservation organization, then you're letting people know. If you notice on my sales page, I was saying, attention, professionals, leaders and entrepreneurs, something like that. So once you land on the page, you know whom I'm looking for. So this is what you're doing here, conservation organization. So if someone knows they are not into conservation, they're like, oh, okay, so that's not my area. So I like you being more specific. That is where it says, I offer healthy, tranquil, and environmentally friendly destinations for people seeking to unwind and relax by the lakeside. Oh, I like that. So meaning I offer healthy and tranquil, environmentally friendly destinations for people seeking to unwind and relax by the lakeside. That's very interesting. So I like the fact that it's more specific, that you're offering unwinding and relaxing by the lake. So so it has all the qualities. I would frame it, I would bring the unwinding part the other side, the other way around. I offer environmentally friendly destinations where people can unwind and relax by the lakeside so as to feel the tranquility and rejuvenation that is memorable. To offer the tranquility and relaxation and rejuvenation that is memorable. Okay, something like that. So it's now the tranquil is the result. The tranquility, I beg your pardon. The tranquility is the emotional experience. Now, unwinding and relaxing is the benefit. Okay. But then the tranquility is the ultimate emotional experience. Tranquility, peace of mind. Okay. So yeah, you have all the qualities there, Goretti. You just need to tweak it a bit. I hope you got what I'm saying. Godfrey says, okay, we'll improve this. I know, Belinda, have I answered your question also? Okay, Belinda says, I used shine and there's actually a way of measuring it that way. They stand out, but yeah, maybe using another word there could do. Yeah, so Belinda, okay, that's good that you're saying that there's a way to measure it. So in marketing, the other thing I learned, let's do a quick test here. If someone says to shine, so the challenge with shine, how many of us can, when someone says shine, how many of us feel that it's very clear, the word shine? Type in the word, because it could be me who is a little misplaced. But just for our own understanding, just to check in, I could be right, I could be wrong, just to help both Belinda and I to bring more clarity here. Someone said, I help employees to shine. if someone is offering you that, is that super clear in your head, or helping someone? Godfrey says shining is relative to the organization. It relates, but may need some numbers added. Exactly. So that's the key thing. So I have an idea of what you mean. And like Godfrey is saying, it's relatives. It is subject to multiple interpretations. So when you say numbers, it must be numbers towards something, okay? So just for our own learning here, because that's, today it's been quite a little different before I move in here. So that's strategy number 3 around personal marketing is a personal advocate strategy. Your advocates are former employers, colleagues, consumers, community leaders. Leverage their existence and goodwill, create top of mind awareness. So what do I mean? What I mean by that is reach out to them, talk to them. If you're looking for a job, say, hey, by the way, just to let you know, I will be leaving my job in the, and here is a mistake that most people do. You know, you will be that the contract is ending in the next 3 months, and then you wait once you don't have a job, say, hey, by the way, I don't have a job now. No, wrong strategy. Alert people ahead of time. Say, by the way, in 3 months, I'll be on the market looking, and if you have opportunities or ideas out there, please. And the other thing I also always tell people, if you're looking for a job, for example, the best time to look for a job is when you have one. Do not wait when you don't have a job and then you start, unless it happens accidentally. You know, sometimes those moments happen where an organization, you know, just sends in an email and you have 2 days to close shop. Apart from that, what I'm saying is you have to start thinking. And here is another thing that you have to start thinking about marketing. Here is another thing that I learned. Looks like I was talking about it some time back. There's a gentleman who wrote the book titled, I remember the title, it was Dig Your Well. I believe it was like Dig Your Well. So yeah, the title was Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty by Mackay. I forget the first name. And that's a fantastic concept. And what he was communicating or teaching was that, look, do not wait when you need someone to appear in their faces. So in between, you should be creating relationships, call people, say hello, send them something of value, send them an article, ask them how they are doing. If you know their birthday, tell them happy birthday. So that by the time you call them, you already have social equity in their world to make it a point that when you ask for help or when you are asking for support, they are very, very responsive. So you have to be you have to leverage those advocates. You have to think deeply. You always have to look for ways and means to make sure that these advocates you're engaging with, that they are with you and that you can leverage them moving forward. All right. So before we move into skill, let's resume the recording. Nelson, it's okay. You can bring in the question at the end. Okay. Skill set. Number 1, you have to think that you're the product or the brand. You are the product or the brand. In other words, you need to describe at least 3 features that you possess and their related benefit to the target market. What do I mean? For example, it could be that you're excellent at driving teams to hit their sales targets. Now, the feature is that the feature or the characteristic or the quality is that you know how to drive teams to high performance. Now, the related benefit to the markets and what that means to you is When you bring me on board, you'll see an increase in profitability and market share. Now, even better, when you're communicating the benefit, you can have proof and say, for example, when I joined this market, and I'll teach you more about that in the program for interviews. For example, when I was in this particular position, they had a 2% market share. Within 3 years, they had a 15% market share. And that's what I bring to the table. Increase in market share and profitability. Oh, and they increased their profits by 350%, the 3-year period. Okay, does that make sense, Tim? For example, that example I'm giving, yes or no? Please type in the chat box. If amen. Then the other key is you need to be clear about your price. What is your value for your particular offerings? When I say offerings, it could be a product or service. Like Kalanoga Resort, that's a product, that's a service they offer. And the value could also be when you're applying for a job, what is your value? What do you want to be rewarded for? Here's something else you need to be very careful about. Not careful, but keen. I've coached, part of what I do is I help people to prepare them for high-level interviews to pass, to succeed. I have a high success rate of 70% of people I coach if they have the right experience and character. But you'll be shocked that at least 30 to 40% of people I talk to, they have no idea of the exact amount they're going to ask for. They're like, yeah, but they should be having a price. I mean, they should be having a budget. No, you should know what it is that you feel that you deserve. Because the market will pay you what you feel, think, and believe that you deserve. Those are key concepts right there. Think, feel, and believe that you deserve. Therefore, you have to think clearly about that. And the other key, second key is, when you're talking about the price and the like, you have to talk about it with absolute belief. As a by the way, the moment you hesitate, I'm like, you see, generally, I'm not so sure, but if you can pay me this much, deal gone. You're telling the world that you don't know who you are, you don't know what your value is, and that you do not put enough value on your head. And that, my friend, can impact your outcomes when you're marketing yourself or when you're talking about yourself. So whether you're talking about your product or service, speak about it with absolute authority and a sense of comfort and absolute belief, because people will buy your vibes, your emotions. What you feel is what they will feel. Next place is, what is your preferred geographical area of operation? So when you're thinking about marketing yourself or your products or services, and you also need to think about which area do you want to work in, because your preferred geographical area will also influence how you market yourself, whom you talk to, whom you reach out to, what you can offer. For example, if you want to work outside the country, then you need to think like an international person, like a global. You need to have a global mindset. You need to have a global perspective. You cannot have local and then you perform at an international level. No, never. Then it will also influence you. Whom do you need to reach out to? How do you need to market yourself? All those things will come to play. The other thing then, once that is clear, you need to think about the promotion strategy. How will the market know that you exist? Who are your advocates that will help you in marketing who you are? How do you then position yourself on LinkedIn? Which email contacts do you need to look out for and engage? which recruitment companies actually have the kinds of organizations that you're targeting. Let me give you a quick tip here. So there are certain organizations that recruit for specific, I'm going to name names, but I'll tell you, literally all the big companies, they engage certain recruitment firms. So part of your job, part of your strategy should be, if you're looking for a job, to say, okay, who recruits for organization A and B and C? Then once you know, say, okay, how do I then send my profile? How do I let these people know that I am a great candidate worth checking out? And when you go there, don't say, by the way, I understand you recruit for these organizations, and it's always been my dream to work for them. And yeah, please, can you please take on my CV? Say, look, this is who I am. I offer high-level financial advisory services, whatever the package is, and I help organizations to cut costs by at least 10%, and I help them to streamline their processes and systems to save them at least 10 hours per month. And what I'm looking for are organizations that are progressive. I'm looking for international organizations, and if such an opportunity opens up, I would be glad to be considered. I'm looking forward to that. And here is my profile. So see what I've done? I've talked about my profile, sorts of results that I create, and I'm telling them the sort of organizations I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a mom and pop shop. Looking for international organizations. You talk about their profile, but you see, that comes by you doing a SWOT analysis, knowing what you offer, knowing your value proposition. By the time you get in front of them, you know what you can offer and what you can market. And then that means when we say promotion, here is another key thing. Please write it down. Personal marketing is a 24-hour job. 24-hour job. Now, you need to know your pitch ahead of time. Once you've packaged the features and the results, so you can go and say, hey, so when you're introducing yourself, I hinted on it yesterday, but now I want to expand it, how you then actually apply it. It means wherever you go, or even if you're on the mic, say, hi, my name is, so for example, for me, I always say, hi, my name is Ethan MUSOLINI. I'm a motivational speaker, human resource trainer, life and career coach, typically when I'm saying hello to people. So why am I doing that? I am letting people know whom they are dealing with, such that in case they are interested in what I have to offer, they'll say, wow, oh, you do coaching, wow, tell me more. Then I'm able to tell you. So that means whether I am at a church function, whether I am at a gym, because these days I don't go to the gym given what's going on, but that's what I do. That's why I introduce. Now compare that with, hi, my name is Ethan. Crickets, quietness. And I just want you to be honest with me. How many of us typically you've been introducing yourself by just your first name? Hi, when you meet a stranger, say, hi, my name is so-and-so. Just be honest and type in the chat box. Because at least over 95% of the people I know who have ever introduced themselves to me, that's how they introduce themselves. I would say even more than 95%. So just be honest with me on that one before we switch into the personal marketing plan. Let me see. Me. You want to introduce ourselves fully during interviews. There you go. Yeah. So now let me tell you something. Even if the only tip you took away was to know who you are and you start introducing yourself properly, that alone puts you ahead of 99% of the people out there. Because like someone saying that, oh, we want to introduce ourselves fully when we are going for interviews. And again, that's why I'm giving you the mindset of saying it's a 24-hour job. Because then interview, by then they know, they have an idea of who you are anyway. And what I always tell people is the world is an interview space. The world is out there screening and checking you out, checking, hey, is there someone who can do this? Then whoever can, boom, they get it. I have a coaching client at the moment, coaching her in the art of building her confidence. She said, I was looking for someone to coach me in the area of confidence. Then I saw your interview. You are being interviewed on NTV. I saw the video online, so I had to look out for you. Hello. She was looking and then went online. She's looking for people who can say, hey, this is what part of what I do. Okay. Now, how do you then develop let's talk about the 4 steps to developing a personal marketing plan. Number 1 is you need to develop your 5-point frame. So when I say 5-point frame, when you're going to think about, when you're thinking about marketing yourself, step 1 is you need to think about what's your preferred industry, what's the expertise you bring, past or present, what's your level of seniority, what's your preferred contract? Is it 3 years? Is it 5 years? What's that? What are the 3 key things that you're looking out for in that opportunity? See, when we say looking out for in that opportunity, most people may figure out the first ones I was talking about, but few people think about what they are looking for in that opportunity. You should also be able to interview the potential employers somehow, whether directly or indirectly. When I'm thinking about it, it would actually be interesting. I'm just giving a test to some of us who are ballsy enough. What if during the interview you said, look, out of curiosity, I'm just wondering, why should someone consider working here? Now, it will take a lot of confidence and positioning for you to ask such a question, but I will tell you what, it's like you're testing the other people to prove that they are worthy for a person like you. That's what that question would be. Now, I know it could be a big stretch for some of us. If you have to ask that only when you're feeling very comfortable. If you're not, when you say, I'm asking, why should I, someone consider working here? Hey, you will lose the opportunity. Especially when you have options already, that would be a great question to ask. But the point I wanted to emphasize here is you need to know what you're looking for in an opportunity such that you can see who qualifies for your gifts. Like one of the things I usually advise, say, newcomers into the market, I always tell, please go into an industry where you're going to learn a lot. I was chatting with one of the biggest entrepreneurs, he's worth millions and millions of dollars. He was saying, look, you're better off when you're starting out to go to an entity that is not more than, say, 30 or 50 people, because then there you find yourself doing many things and you have access to the business owner and the like, especially assuming you want to work in the private sector. You learn a lot because your hands will be in many things. Rather than go to a big multinational and then you're only focused in a certain aspect. So you're usually better off that way, and then you advance to bigger corporates later. Next is you need to develop your prospect list. Understand their challenges, desires, values, and culture. So, by the way, this works. I'm running through this, assuming you're looking at a job and that sort of thing, then I will use this framework for business also. So prospect list, like the client I'm coaching now on career positioning, we did all that part 1. Now part 2 is we've zeroed down on the kinds of industries, organizations she wants to work with. And then I say, now you need to do research. The research has to be, okay, what are they struggling with? What are their dreams? What are their values? What's the culture? So that when you are in front of them communicating or you're sending an application letter, then it is targeted. So you say, you know what, understand part of your strategic plan is in the next 5 years, you want to do, you want to reach out to 1 million young girls in school. And since I was a young lady, since for the last 10 years, that's been my desire to make a difference in the lives of young girls. So do you see how that is different from someone sending in an application saying, I am dedicated, committed, passionate, and so yeah. And by the one of the someone who is on this call here who works with Success Africa, when she was doing her written interview, she highlighted some of part of her vision and mission and values. I was like, oh wow, this one is actually interested. You even read about what we do. The next is you design your offer. What do you bring to the table? Say, by the way, if you engage me here, I'll be able to do 1, 2, 3 things. If you engage me, you'll be having someone who can, organize your team, get them motivated and inspired, realign to where they need to go to make sure that they sell, to make sure that we increase our market share month in, month out. Okay, if we keep the sales job in perspective. Next is you implement a multidimensional promotional strategy, attending cocktails and functions where they are, as an example, which may not be applicable right now as of this recording. But when we say multidimensional promotional strategy, say, okay, I'm going to engage my advocates. I'm going to update my LinkedIn page. I'm going to, which groups my potential employers hanging out, how can I go in and participate and contribute value? So, you know what? I'm going to open up a blog I talk about these subjects. The other thing that I always recommend is if you don't have a business card, please get one. Even if you don't have a job, you can always have a card. You put there your name, say, my name is so-and-so. You put there your name, say, looking for a job, looking for an exciting opportunity to work as an administrator in a progressive organization, or we're looking for opportunities to work in a customer service oriented organization, or I'm looking for a customer service related job in the private sector. See? So you imagine if you went around introducing yourself that way, it makes such a huge impression compared to people saying, I don't have a job, I'm here, you see, oh, I can't have a business card, I don't have. No, have a business card. Now, how does this work in the business aspect? So number one, so this other 5-point frame again. So what you do is you have to know, even if you're in business, you have to know your target market. Are they mainly professionals, for example? Are they young people? Are they children or what? So then what do you bring? What is your history that you can package? Number two, do you prefer subscriptions? Do you prefer walk-ins? That has to be clear. 3 keys, things that you're looking out for in that opportunity. What are the top 3 characteristics you look for in your clients? Next, develop your prospect list that you should know. So that once you know their challenges, desires, what they value most, then you will know how to sell to them, to sell to those prospects. Design your offer. What do you bring to the table? Then that will appear in your flyers, in your website, in your social media. Say, by the way, we help organizations do this. If we stay with Kalanoga, for example, who want to create a tranquil experience and all that, say, look, we guarantee that by the time you are done with our experience, you should feel more relaxed and happy, or you get all your money back. That could be part of your offer because you're offering relaxation and tranquility, okay? So implement multidimensional promotional strategy. This is very straightforward, especially in the private sector, meaning you cannot rely on one channel. There's a channel that I engaged and I received very tiny results, and there's another channel I engaged that got for me very good results. So it's also about you measuring these channels. And talking about channels, for us in the private sector specifically, not private sector, but all of us, we need to measure who is getting for us good results. even if you're working, which industries do you find really turn you on and excited and you get the most out of that, right? Cool. So, all right, let's move to mastery. Again, mastery is about how do you then make sure that everything is tied together and you own it. It's really one thing. The next 36 hours, develop your 4P marketing mix. Share it with me. The email is info@ethanmusolini.com. Share it. So when we talk about the 4P marketing mix, this is for people who, who are attending live. Recording, I'm not sure, but you can still send it. Yeah, I would still be happy to do that. And so when I say the 4P, I really mean this, the 4-part frame, the four parts of you packaging yourself, packaging all this. That's what I meant. So that's what I really mean in this particular context. All right. That's how you master. But then the other thing I would also add is that with marketing, again, the rule is it's a 24-hour job. Every day I ask you, how can I market myself? How can I put my name out there? Oh, here's the most important tip I can give you. When it comes to marketing, what I've learned over the years is lead with value. Offer value first and ask for value later. I can't emphasize that any bigger. Please, one of the best ways to market yourself is add value where you are, then talk about yourself. But there are people who talk about themselves. They're like, okay, if they give me a job, then I work. I'll give you an example. There's someone I know whom I feel made one of the biggest mistakes of her life. And that is, she told the TV program, said, no, my knowledge is so valuable that you have to pay me first. In my view, that's not smart marketing. Smart marketing is the TV is giving you the platform, you go offer value, then once you build your value, you can ask for payment later. That's how I look at it. Can the other way around also work? Absolutely. But then I'm thinking first offer value. Once you offer value, value creation is the best form of marketing, in my view. Find ways, how can you add value? Share content online, share valuable tips, find a way to help the organization. And here is another tip for you that I usually share with organizations, with staff, people who are employed. I always tell them that your current job is the best marketing platform, period. Do a great job where you are. Do an exceptional job where you are. Then, and only then will you see opportunities coming your way. Then the Bible tells us, if you're not a good steward of the little, God will not give you something bigger. But here is what is very interesting. Once you do an excellent job where you are at, there are people who will leave that organization, find better opportunities, and when they are of high quality, they will ask him, do you know of someone who is like you? I know people have done it. Like, yeah, I know someone. Right now, some of you, there are people you work with and you're thinking, wow, if I was to ever start my own business, I would hire this person. If I was to find a better opportunity somewhere, I would hire this person. And some of us work with people where you're like, you know what, this person, if I was asked for a recommendation, I wouldn't recommend this one. How many of us know what I'm talking about? In that right now, right here, there are people you are working with now or you've ever worked with before. You can either recommend or not recommend based on their behaviors, on their performance, on their ways of being. Or some of us have actually already recommended other people or sent other people's names and say, hey, this is the person to hire. This is someone you should hire. This is someone you should consider. Or someone asks you, here is another scenario. Some of us could be that they ask you, do you know someone who can, who can step into this role? And you know someone who is academically technically proficient, but you know that their character or they are not disciplined and all that, and you cannot recommend them. How many of us know what I'm talking about? If you know what I'm talking about, if you believe what I'm saying is spot on, please go right ahead and type in the chat box, okay? Someone says, I've worked with a clinician who will never treat me or my relative. I've recommended someone I worked with. True. I know of people who have been recommended in certain positions because of who they are. Very true, spot on. Yeah, so here is, if you are employed, I cannot emphasize this enough. If there is one tip that I know is going to serve you for years and decades to come, is this: do an exceptional job where you are, be a good person, add value to your workplace, have good vibes, engage with your team. Do not engage into office politics to backstab people, because the rule is, in life, you reap what you sow. So if you sow disharmony, then you get disharmonious engagements or opportunities. If you do not, if you offer a lot of value, the world will bring a lot of value to you. And of course, be generous. Recommend people. If you trust in someone, recommend that person somewhere. So for me, the job that you have is the best marketing platform, because guess what? That's why you're able to demonstrate who you are and what you can do or what you cannot be. That's what it is. Because every opportunity is going to be a stepping stone to boost your value or to bring your value lower. It is law. That's what it is. Listen, for whichever job that you have, that's the opportunity God has given you. Maximize it. Engage it, savor it. Do not take anything for granted. Even if someone has given you 5 minutes of your attention, do not take it for granted. Maximize it. That's the best marketing platform, and it's a test. Every situation we are going into, it's an audition. Are you delivering? Are you offering value? Because then when you do, then the world will reward you in amazing ways. It's not just about, hey, come pick me. It's just that whichever opportunity has picked you, are you maximizing that moment? Then God will open up bigger doors for you. That I guarantee. When I'm talking to people, I always tell them, look, the thing is, do the best job you can possible, and then someone will see the value and pay you accordingly. All right? So what I want you to do is to think and reflect. What did you find most useful in this presentation, this training, and how are you going to implement the lessons moving forward in your life, career, and business? So that's now one of the questions that I received was, look, concerning the personal advocate idea, that sometimes some organizations, they don't give you a heads up before, they just give you 1 month to wind up. And I'm saying, look, you do not have control over such. So what I always advise people is stay in the game, be engaged, such that even if you're caught unawares, then you have somewhere to start. Hence that concept of dig your well when you're not yet thirsty. Keep your network cell awake and alive, and make sure that you're in the game, so that in case you're knocked off, then you have somewhere to start from, okay? I hope that's clear. And we say, I've heard about individuals setting up a team of advisors termed as personal boardroom, but I'm yet to get a full understanding of the still on my bucket list. Oh, Andrew, I get what you mean. Yeah, so that's something I teach in the personal strategic plan. So part of what you do is you get your own personal board of advisors. You see, again, the concept, the idea is for you to run your life as if you're an organization. And that's why I'm talking about personal marketing, personal branding, because organizations have brands they market also. So you get a team of people who will be advising you, and therefore they are your board of advisors. You have the spiritual advisor, you have a marketing advisor, you could have a career advisor, and that sort of thing. And on that team, you could even have a coach, a professional coach. Like I do coach people in executive communication, in personal and career development. I also do counseling for people to overcome emotional turmoil, to heal what is disturbing them emotionally. I I've learned certain modalities where if it is something emotional, I can help you clean it up to zero. Meaning if it is mentally disturbing your emotion, if you're emotionally disturbed, let's say to a level 10, I can help you, we work on it until it reaches zero. I've done that a couple of times. So yeah, it's a powerful concept, Andrew. And for all of us, get a personal board of advisors. Justin is asking, please offer some guidance to people who are current in permanent employment and have not been able to identify my market niche outside the current job. Are we stuck at the current workplace? All right, so that's a great question, Justin. Truth is, in future, that's something beyond this program for now. Because I'm actually planning to do something I call career transition. That's what I've noticed in the people I've been coaching, people in their mid-30s and above. Usually they reach a point, they feel they need to either upgrade or change, but they are not so sure. So I have 2 clients I've been coaching, and I've discovered lots of exciting frameworks. So we can talk about that. So number 1 is to ask yourself, in the job that you're in, are you truly fulfilled and engaged? On a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 you're fully engaged and fulfilled, how do you rate yourself? If you find that you're below level 5, for example, then that means that's an area then you need to start thinking about transitioning to another area. So now there's a process you need to go through to identify there's a process I take people through in terms of how to identify the areas they need to work in, but it starts by discovering who you are, identifying areas and industries that you need to get into, and then packaging yourself, some of the things we are talking about, and then promoting yourself to that. Then of course, learning how to pass a job interview if you get one, which the good news is that we'll be doing that segment later. So I would say it's a bigger pot. I would say start from gauging where you are at on a scale of 0 to 10. Okay, so I've given you a high level perspective. This is something that is much deeper. What you're talking about is career transition, but now I'm just giving you some tips where to start from. All right, good. Justin says I'm registering now. All right, great. Yeah, that's if I get enough, yeah, that's something I will most likely do in September or something like that, because I've noticed there is a big need for that, and there isn't much people offering. Also important, fresh with interviews each year. Even if you are employed, it keeps you up to date with the trend in the job world and responding to interview questions and expectations. Wow, Godfrey, you're such a smart guy. Brilliant, brilliant idea. Brilliant. Never had someone say that, but makes so much sense. Yeah, it keeps you in the game, it keeps you sharpened. So what Godfrey is saying, hey, if you have a job and you're comfortable, just respond to opportunities and respond to interviews so that you keep yourself sharpened. Brilliant. Well done, Godfrey. I like that. And he also says, probably away from what we are studying, please share your camera specs, Ethan. It is just so good. Thank you, Nelson. I didn't know that it was so good. No, I have a laptop. I'm just using a webcam of my laptop. It's a Core i7. It's an HP. It's the brand is called Envy. I know there are even better brands now. So the difference though is I am facing the window, so the light is coming from there. That's another thing. That's another trick to use when you're doing this. Okay, thank you though. I'm glad that it's clear. Yeah, so the laptop I believe is good, and most critically also the light. All right, great. So please type in the chat box, what did you find most useful and what are you going to do differently as a result of what we've done today? And we just have 1 minute, please type it in chap, and in the chat box.